Hi, this is Lesson12 and welcome to Modern Music Composition. We're going to start talking about counterpoint now. Counterpoint's a big field. It's pretty technical and there are a lot of rules involved and there are different types of counterpoint. So I thought, well, what's the best way to introduce counterpoint? And I thought the best way to introduce it is just to give a conceptual idea of what counterpoint is in music at the highest level. So let's do that. Well, what's music? Music is just a continuous set of lines of tone. Okay, what does that mean? Well, when you play a chord, for example, a C major chord, and here we've got represented a C chord, this is a G clef, I ran out of room, a C, G, C, E, I spaced it out, a C major triad. Well, if you're playing, say, a 1-4-5 progression in the key of C, you've got the C chord, you've got the F chord, and you've got the G chord, okay? Well, when people listen to that type of music, they're going to hear the C chord, they're going to hear the F chord, and they're going to hear the G chord, okay? But what the music really is it's drawing lines between points that those chords are creating with notes, and it's that flow of those horizontal lines which we perceive as music. Okay, well, what are these horizontal lines? That's the melody. Okay, so the melody is just continuous horizontal lines of single tones. You can have multiple lines, just like what the chord is actually producing. Okay, it's producing these points which those lines are going to sit on horizontally. But this gets to the chord. Multiple lines, when multiple lines are intonated together, they should agree with one another if the music's going to be of high quality. Okay? They should harmonize one another. Okay? Well, that leads us straight into what is harmony. Harmony are these vertical columns of tones. That's what a chord is. Okay, so you can think of harmony then as the vertical structure, melody as the horizontal structure. So it's how these chords are put together and how each note in each chord talks to the adjacent note or the one before it, or the one in front of it, or the one before it, is going to dictate the quality of music. So what's counterpoint? Well, counterpoint is defined as the harmonious association of these individual and independent melodies. The word independent is important here, and you're going to see how important it is when I start talking about counterpoint, especially just in first species. You'll realize that each one, in fact, let me now you've got a picture of this. Let me erase this part and give me some room here to write something down. So you've got this chord here. I'll draw it out in red. And let's say you've got another chord. And it doesn't matter what it is. Let's not worry about what the chord is. Let's just think of these as points in space. Well, you may connect these points together possibly. These points may become connected together. Oh, geez, that may just continue to flow. You can think of actually the third one as a dotted line and not necessarily a continuous line. It may be thought of as a dotted line because even though that chord is struck, in your mind, in your brain, you're still hearing that music, even though the music continues to go forward. Well, for the most part, what creates a decent melody? What creates a high-quality melody? Usually it's smooth, okay? One could think of as the smooth part of a roller coaster. Not necessarily the big steep parts, but maybe the ones that just kind of do this, okay? But what you're seeing here is I'm mapping out this horizontal melody. I'm mapped out actually 4 horizontal melodies here, okay? There's one that may dominate, and a lot of times people think of that as the one in the high register. But for the most part, you have independent melodies here that are working together harmoniously to create music. That's counterpoint. Your melody, like I said, may go up, have a high point, and come down and do something else. Usually in a motif or a phrase, that melody has a single high point. That's just what us humans like to listen to, usually. But for the most part, that single line melody is working with all the other single line melodies within those chords, and each one is independent, but also working with all the others. Okay? That's important to know. So that's the first lesson of counterpoint, and the next video will be on first species counterpoint. Talk to you later.